Yes.
All right.
I have a sore throat.
Questions? Anybody? Any questions about anything? Audio related or non-audio related? Start with audio related.
Yeah, sort of a question.
Ask it away. Ask it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if this is over before, but I think it's happened really once or twice, where, if you're not careful with the boom mic and kind of moving around a little too much, and you bump the wire, it makes sounds in the crowd.
There can be handling noise with a boom mic. And the mount we have on the boom mic, and let me get to it because I know it's in this picture. We have a mount that is very shock absorbent. And this can be a bigger problem on the stand when we use the stand, because we have the flat stand we use sometimes too. The stand doesn't have this mount on. But even with this, there can be a problem sometimes, especially when it's extended to this kind of a length, and then it travels along the whole length of it. There can be handling noise on these mics, and that sucks. What to do if you notice that, because if you're recording audio, hopefully you're listening to the audio. That's a proactive thing.
Hopefully.
We don't just go off of blind faith of, hopefully we're getting this. If you hear it, let the director know and be like, hey, just FYI, there is handling noise. Let's do it again to make sure we actually have that. Usually it's fine. We usually do enough safety takes for that reason anyway that it's never a problem. But yes, it absolutely can be, and it's very hard to remove in post because it's usually like right at the edge. But the shotgun that we have there is very good at reducing handling noise. And wrapping the cord like Alex has done here, you see, probably hard to see, but he has like it coiled all the way around, all the way up. That helps a lot too. Not just having loose wires. And what we'll do sometimes too is we'll tape it. I didn't bring the tape. We'll throw tape around it. I think we did it here. There's tape at a couple points along. You can't see this picture, but I'm pretty sure that we taped it to get it looking that good. We had to it. We tape it every once in a while to remove that as well, to remove that variable from it. Good question. Did I answer it fully? Okay.
What is the best way to tell if a microphone needs phantom power or not?
Googling it and looking at the stat sheet. Unfortunately, microphones never say on them. I don't even know for some of them. A lot of them are like, I don't know, I guess it's phantom power. So know what microphone you're using and know whether or not it needs phantom power. All of ours I had memorized. I know the Rode shotgun mic needs its phantom power. I know the MXL studio mic, which is this one Katie was using. Oh, past it. That one requires phantom power too. The handheld one I didn't put in this slide, the SM58, I don't think that one requires phantom power. Could be wrong. Once again, I don't know. So Google it. That's my answer, because you'll find a stat sheet or a tech sheet or something and just have that ready. Know what we're going to use. Because I don't think the lav mic requires it. No, the lav mic does require it. The adapter requires it. The lav mic itself doesn't. But the lav mic, to get it, because the lav mic we have is like a 3.5 millimeter output. So we have a series of adapters to get it to XLR. This is a fun problem-solving thing. We have the Smart Lav is meant to go into an iPhone. So it's different than a 3.5 millimeter cable. It's a TTR3 cable is what it's called. And so I have a TTR3 to 3.5 millimeter stereo. Then I have a stereo to mono. Then I have a mono 3.5 millimeter to mono 1/4 inch. And then I have 1/4 inch to XLR, because that's the only order in which I could get them. I wish there was a simpler way to do it, but you'll laugh when you see the, I know some of you have seen it, the long string of adapters at the end of the, it is, it's like this long, because the XLR one's like this big alone, and there's these little tiny ones. So that's an audio problem solving situation. One more thing I didn't talk about, which I'll add real quick. Whenever you're doing an event like a wedding or a talent show or anything where people are mic'd, like on a stage sort of a situation, usually, if they're mic'd, actually always if they're mic'd, can't think of a situation where it would be, there's some soundboard somewhere where someone's mixing sound, it has there's a main mix. And if you can, you should always get a straight shot of that into Tascam. We have two XLR units, which use both. So, you can throw that main mix into the Tascam, and it's beautiful. We've done it before for a number of things. And we have splitters, XLR splitters, so that if they don't have an extra one, if they don't have an extra output, we can just feed off of one of their current ones. We can break off from that. And that's an incredibly helpful thing to have the direct audio from the microphones people are speaking into or are already mic'd up. Saves us a ton of work, first of all. We've shot the Prism concert for at my high school for a couple years, and that's a concert where there's music everywhere. It's very hard to film because it's everywhere. If you've never been to one, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But just trust me, that it's everywhere, and it's a huge mess to film. And one year we didn't get the audio, and the next year we did. We had them burn a CD while they were recording it, because that was their easiest way to do it. I'm like, that's fine. So we had the CD of just the clean audio, and it's just so much nicer. The editor will love YouTube because they don't have to do as much audio cleaning, because it's hard to get cleaner than the mic that they're holding right there. And it sounds really good, and it's mixed at that point too. That's the other key with pulling off of a soundboard. Someone else has already mixed it for you and has all the levels set correctly, which is a yay. So yeah, weddings we've done that at a couple times. I think the talent show, I know we did that at. There's a couple different things. Oh, the ballroom showcase we filmed one time. We did that at. That was super helpful. So keep that in mind if you're going to any sort of live event. Especially live events are really hard from a video production standpoint in general, because you can't be like, oh, hold on, do that again. Like especially like a wedding situation, don't be that guy. You know, freeze, do it again. It will not go over well. I object. I didn't get the shot. You have like one chance at live stuff. Because if they mess up at the event, you know, audio-wise, they're gonna hit it anyway. And it's gonna go down that way anyway. So it's not your fault at that point. Always blame it on somebody else. Just kidding. Bad rule. Don't do that. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say about that.
Always
Anyway.
blame it on the equipment.
Always blame it on the equipment. Another bad rule not to follow. Disclaimer. Rule is not to follow. Don't blame it on the equipment. We have nice equipment most of the time. Very important note about the Tascam, which is like the whole reason we're having this. There's a hold button on the Tascam. All right. There's a hold switch. Sorry, it's not a. When it is enabled, the Tascam buttons don't do anything. They are absolutely useless. It is not a battery problem. It is not an SD card problem. It is a hold switch problem. So you just switch it back and then suddenly it works like magic again. So there are a series of steps to test what's wrong with the Tascam if it won't turn on. The first one is the hold switch. The next one is the batteries. Then I would check batteries. It takes AA batteries, 3 AA batteries. And sometimes the SD card can mess up inside of it, but that's a rare thing to have. That doesn't usually happen very often. But yeah, there's a hold switch. There's also, that's really the only switch that you really care about. Oh, the phantom power switch.
Yes.
That's it. SD cards go here. The SD card slot is a pain in the butt to open. As anyone ever who's tried to open it knows, you have to use like a key basically to like force your way into it and get it out that way. It's a massive pain. Some sort of poor design flaw there. I don't know why it's not a nicer compartment. I don't want to quibble with the Tascam. Yeah, so hold, but I do put it, you'll notice, and you guys know this from opening it on set, I do leave it in hold mode most of the time so that it doesn't actually get bumped on and like waste all of our battery power, because that would suck. So I'll be like, oh, Tascam's dead already. I always bring extra batteries for it too. That's another important thing. I almost always bring extra Tascam batteries because it will die at some point. It has a decently long battery life. Oh yeah, I didn't mention this. This is a fun point about the Tascam that I will mention because, like the cameras, its battery meter is not very accurate. I'll tell you. Oh, nothing's working. There it is. I'll tell you. Where's my pictures? Better. You can't see anything. The battery meter is right there, and it's got 3 bars. In this picture, it's got 2 bars left. It will have all 3 bars for about 30 seconds, and then it quickly drops down to 2. And you're like, oh crap, my battery's about to die in 30 seconds. Don't freak out. Once again, I don't know why nothing in the video production world is ever built with a correct battery meter. But it sits at 2 for like ever. Like 90% of the time, like this is a range of about 90%. Like the first 5% is all 3. Then you have the middle 90%, which is 2. Then you have the last 5%, which is 1. When it drops down to 1, you have to find more batteries, like red alert. And eventually we'll pop and be like, you need new batteries. Which will be very quickly after it hits 1. So the battery indicator is kind of nice, but not really. It'll tell you within a margin of error about 90% what your battery life is.
Has it ever died for you in the middle of the shoot?
Yes, multiple times. It happened in December at the hard reset shoot at the diner scene. And what I had to do, I didn't have extra batteries with me, bad director. What I had to do, I had to run, and I did run. And I grabbed, it has a USB cable, you can plug it in with too, and that can supply, that's how we get files off of it because the SD card's not too much of a pain in the butt to open every time. So you can transfer files, but it also can provide power. So I grabbed a USB cable and like a USB wall adapter, and I plugged it in, and I was like, let's just run it off this power. I don't feel like getting more batteries. So we had to do that for that shoot. That's a good thing to do at a shoot when you know you're gonna have access to power. Like I knew we were going to in that instance. There's several pieces of our equipment that run off of power like that if we want them to. Usually for like an inside controlled environment, we'll use that. Like the monitor has that. That camera has it. We don't use it very often. The Black Magic we use more. Plugged in when we can.
So how do you carry around all your equipment?
That's a fun process, let me tell you.
Bring friends.
Bring friends. The Tascam does have a case. It has a little waterproof case. Not that it's ever gotten wet, but if it did. We're actually, I'll show you, I made a purchase. I'm going to show you real quick. You guys are going to like this. Anyone, like Lawson, I think Lawson's helped us move. You've used the plastic bin, right? You've been there when we used the ugly plastic.
Usually we use plastic
Probably.
inside equipment.
Yeah, it's real ugly. What's in my cart? No, I know it.
And then we've got bags for other big things that can't be bags.
We've got bags for some big things. I'm going to show you what I ordered. I ordered
And then
this.
those are broken on those bags though.
Well, oh yeah, some of our bags are broken. I ordered this, so we're gonna start using these this semester.
So beautiful.
They're so nice. I'm like, oh, actual like like bags. And so we're gonna put. They have like compartments and stuff. And it's so nice.
Can the boom fit in
The boom cannot fit in there. The boom we usually carry.
The pole, the microphone separates.
Yeah,
Right. The microphone. Yeah, the microphone can come off and goes into a separate case, and that could fit in there. But the boom pole itself definitely will not fit in there. The boom pole itself is like this longish, folded all the way down, and then it extends to about 15 feet, fully extended. So the boom pole we usually end up carrying on its own. We do have a bag that has poles in it though, the backdrop bag,
Yeah.
but I think that's too small for that too. Yeah, we carry equipment in a lot of different ways, depending on what we're carrying. Because like if we're carrying a green screen setup, we handle that totally differently than like a softbox setup. That's a huge thing to carry. I dread softbox setups because those are just
Bag is
really
massive.
The bag is massive and it's
And
like
the handles
falling
are, like,
apart.
broken.
It's falling apart. We might be, honestly, we could probably combine it in one of these because that bag is meant to hold the bulbs too. So we could probably fit it into a smaller bag if we could find one big enough for the poles.
Yeah.
Other questions? Audio or non-audio related? I'll be here all week, all semester, and all next year too.
How do you decide what microphone to use? in
How do you
this?
decide what microphone to use? That's a great question. It depends on what you want to record. Depends on what you're recording. For most of our shoots, like scripted style stuff, we use the Tascam, the Rode mic through the Tascam. And that's so that you get, very directional stuff. We use the Rode, the Invisalav whenever we can, the lav mic whenever we can, because that just gets fantastic audio of just one person. I think when we shot the TSF thing, we used the Invisalav. We rotated it through.
We tried.
Yeah, well, we tried to rotate it through. We rotated it through a couple times. We switched it a couple times. And that got really good audio. And we didn't use it, but it's really good audio. It's good if you have someone who's having a much more profound role than everyone else. Like when we shoot the Jordan classroom scene, he'll be wearing the Invisalav because he has 95% of the lines. So it's like if you have someone that they're gonna have all the dialogue ever, or most of it, they're the main character, it makes sense for them to be wearing it because they will be tethered. That's the one thing you have to watch out for. Is it's not wireless. We don't have a wireless lav, so they will be tethered somehow to it.
So it's like a dog
we have
on a leash?
like a dog on a leash, but it's a 100-foot leash. We have 200-foot XLR cables, so it could be a 200-foot leash if it needed to be. I don't think we have anything that intensive. Not like he's sprinting with this cable dragging behind him. But you could if you wanted to. But any situation when you use the Invisalav, I'd also recommend using the Rode mic for external mic. The one exception to that is like a talk show or like a reporter on the street kind of setup, like an Everyday Gator kind of setup, where it's just a reporter talking to someone. In that case, I'd be like, they're fine just wearing it themselves. We don't care. Anything live like that, we don't really care about. Didn't hear the car going by very clearly. It's more, what is that one person saying, like a report kind of situation. And then, are those the only mics? The internal mics we'll use every once in a while if we're going for a really light setup. We'll use those. They're not as directional, but they are good. They're very good at recording instrumentation. Everyone mentioned this. Like if you're recording a band or like a vocal group, not so much a vocal group, but really like a band, like instruments or like an orchestra or things like that. They're really good at recording that kind of a range. Actually, choruses, they are good at recording like a chorus too, and Alex has done that before with really good success. So they're good in that kind of situation. Good question. And when do you use camera audio? Except for today. This is okay. This is internal. And I'm using the Tascam, so we can't use it to record it too, which is sad, but that's okay. If I was recording this professionally, I would be wearing a lav. This is a setup where I would wear a lav.
What is our main purpose for camera audio?
What?
What is our main purpose for camera audio?
Our one and only purpose for camera audio is to be able to sync up the external audio in post. You should never, if you're editing, you should never have to use camera audio when you have external audio available, because that's weird. Because you have better audio. Why are you using camera audio?
Cameras aren't for the microphones.
Cameras aren't known for the microphones. You don't buy the camera because it doesn't have a microphone. Keep that in mind. Especially with Blackmagic. Blackmagic is a god-awful microphone. It's so horrible. It's really bad.
Capture the spike though.
It captures the spike. That's all you need it to do. It's like a real like tinny sound. It's horrible. Like the Rode has a real warm sound. There's also weird adjectives in audio production. But yeah, camera audio, just keep away from it. Use it for what it's needed for. BTS sometimes I'll use it for behind the scenes stuff, like funny things that happen off camera. Because usually the Rode mics so directional it won't pick up what people behind the camera are saying, but the camera mics will, because they're like, because of the shape they are, they're patterned, they pick up whatever's right behind the camera really well. So in BTS, if you hear the cameraman talking, it's probably camera audio that I'm using in that sort of situation. Anything else? I'm coming. I'm ready.